I wonder how many of these I will actually recognize.
And unknown details about the game we all have been playing for a few decades now. I can assure you that this list will contain at least one fact you didn't know about, so watch until the end and let me know down in the comments below if I was right.
Vanilla.
Let's jump straight into it with the first one. I found Arthas' grave, and I can prove it to you. At the very end of the Stormwind cemetery, you will find this massive tomb with guards protecting whatever lies in it. We know it's not Varian Rin, since he has his own remembrance in the Park of Stormwind. We also know it's not Tiffin Rin's, the Stormwind Queen's grave, as hers is right next to this one. So it has to be Arthas, right? One massive indicator is that Jaina's theme starts playing once you get close to the tomb. And we all know that Jaina was Arthas' motivation and love interest throughout the Warcraft 3 storyline.
I guess it would make sense. No king rules forever. Yeah, I guess it does make sense. Was it Mufford? Yeah, the music, man.
Chronologically, it would also make sense, as this grave was added in Cataclysm, right after we killed the Lich King for good. And the biggest hint of all is that the tomb has the Lordaeron crest engraved on it. As to why this grave is so heavily protected, that's most likely because they want to defend his corpse from necromancers who might want to steal his remains and resurrect him. And I'm pretty...
It might just be for, like, in case like, Horde players are coming in, though, as well. Would it make more sense that it's Jaina's dad? I don't know the full lore with her dad. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure that the people on Azeroth don't want to repeat history again. The reason why no one bats an eye about it though is because they probably told the people of Stormwind that Bolvar lies here, as everyone thought that he died in the Wrath Gates, up until Shadowlands at least. It was never confirmed by Blizzard who really lies here, but these bulletproof points are reason enough for me to believe that this is Arthas' grave. But what do you think? There's a website that you can use if you ever want to explore the unknown and secret places of World of Warcraft, like the
Hey, all I'm saying, chat, like, hey, if they ever do Classic Plus, boys, man, I'm a broken record, man. I hate myself.
Released MOBA like Arena Battleground, Ashara Crater, or that one zone that everyone always wanted to see, Scott Test, which is just a cube in a cube in a cube.
What?
You can take a look at every single zone that is in the game up until the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, and maybe find something out in the distance that no one had ever witnessed before. If you're bored of World of Warcraft, you can even go out of your way to explore other games like Super Mario Galaxy or Dark Souls. The name of this website is noclip.website. You can check it out for yourself if you're curious about that stuff. What is the rarest item in the entire game? I'm not talking about one-time handouts like the fluorescent Mechanos Rider or the legendary necklace. I'm talking...
I was gonna say the necklace, dude. I still can't believe they added an actual necklace that shows up on your in-game model and then had it drop on a mob and then deleted it. I guess it was like not supposed to be in the game, but yeah.
About items that any player in the game is able to get in a legitimate way. While some of you might think that it's the Pendulum of Doom or the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent pre-mob remix times, you would all be wrong. The rarest item are the Spell Shock leggings with 10 int, 9 stamina.
Wait, I think I've seen these drop before. They're in vanilla, right?
And 23 spell power. This item is insane for any caster above level 45 and is pretty much pre-bis for anyone at level 60. Good. What makes it so rare though? Unlike many BoE items in Classic WoW, this item only drops from Shadow Priest Cezis and Chief Sandscalp in the Zul'Farrak dungeon with the drop chance of around 0.01%. This means that you would have to run the dungeon 5,000 times to have a realistic chance to see the item once.
I mean, it is 50-50.
Then it's not guaranteed. Although nowadays it's way easier to get this item, as you could theoretically just buy it off the auction house for a reasonable price. Back in Classic, this item was the rarest item obtainable for the player. So
I do think I've seen it on some servers before,
you want to flex with all your hard-earned gold, huh? Well, you're in good luck, as there's the perfect item for that. Back in BFA, they introduced the coinage samples for all plate-wearing classes. If you were lucky enough to get it from Opulence, a boss in the Battle of the Zar Law raid, you would quickly realize that they have a special animation. If you jump or break your ankles by falling off a tower...
Wait, what?
While having these boots equipped, it would create a splash of coins on the point of impact. Although BFA is a few years old now, you can still make use of this mechanic today, as transmogging your boots to this item will also give you the effect. Unfortunately,
retail looks so different to me.
The amount of gold in your inventory...
like, whenever I see some retail stuff, like, I mean, listen, I like retail for it, like, it's a seasonal game for me, man, but the game, it's such a different video game
doesn't affect
than what
the animation,
vanilla is.
But it's still cool nonetheless. Did you know that Darnassus doesn't have a single male guard? I'm serious. You can make your way to Darnassus right now and run around, and I can assure you, you will not find a single male guard on these streets. You will find a lot of male NPCs, like the weapon vendor, but all guards in Darnassus are female, and that makes complete sense.
That's actually true.
As in the lore, female night elves were seen as the warriors and protectors, which is why...
Yeah, remember, I mean, when we did the Warcraft 3 playthrough, whenever you do the Orc campaign, and then I think you're playing as Hellscream, and then you go and meet the Nidals for the first time. He's basically like, he's like having a little bit of like a war orgasm overseeing these like strong female like Nidals, man. He's like, dude, what are these? These are so freaking powerful, oh my gosh.
They are usually called the Sentinels.
He's having like a wargasm, yeah.
The men usually have the Druid or Caster roles, since they were the only ones that could go the way of the Druids back then. Funnily enough, one of the only female Druids from back then could be seen in the World of Warcraft vanilla cinematic. Before we continue, have you ever wanted to change your life in a meaningful way, like learning back-end development and open up a new career path for you, but simply got too bored because your brain prefers looking at stuff like this nowadays?
What? Dude, I hate...
Yeah, me too. But don't worry, today's sponsor Boot.dev helps you out by gamifying the issue and changing your life in a short amount of time. Learning back-end development in the Python and Go programming
every time I see anything,
thanks to these guys.
I always wonder if it's AI these days.
Playing an RPG, which, let's be honest, we've all been doing for 20 years straight anyways. So this will feel exactly like home. You can earn XP, complete quests, level up, and even complete achievements while learning the programming language.
It's a cool way, like gamifying, like IRL stuff is a cool way of learning though.
If you're a fan of endless grind and infinite challenges like Mythic Plus, you should definitely check out the training grounds where you can do exactly that and look down on everyone else while being on top of the leaderboards. If this all sounds too good to be true, keep in mind that they offer you a free demo while also having a 30-day no questions asked refund policy. So you can literally try it out for yourself without any risks. So what are you waiting for? Click on the link at the top of my description and use my code Ryan to get 25% off your first month or year, depending on your subscription plan. Thank you to Boot.dev for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into even more secrets in Azeroth you didn't know about. There's a pretty funny old commercial for Mountain Dew when they worked with Blizzard to create a World of Warcraft flavored Mountain Dew, whatever that means.
These commercials were good. Holy shit. Holy. And I miss when WoW was this though. Oh, this is not AI.
Honestly, this video has better CGI than what they put out nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
In an early
that fucking cutscene was so bad.
Alpha version of WoW, shields were separated into two different classifications. On one side, you had the shields that we know and love today, and on the other, you had bucklers, which had a lower focus on armor and block, but had more stats on them. These bucklers were wielded by rogues and hunters, mainly for stat sticks, before Blizzard decided to remove this feature from the game as a
they were supposed to be. It never made it into the actual game, but yeah.
Probably interfered with their class fantasy. Bucklers, however, still exist in the game, but they're just classified as shields now.
I don't think this ever made it to the game. I think initially, yeah, they were supposed to be wielding bucklers and stuff like that, but I think it got scrapped before any playable state of the game was out. But yeah, it was supposed to be a thing, yeah.
If you're ever bored of leveling a new character in retail, you can spice up your gameplay by installing some add-ons. My favorite add-on for leveling is by far the John Cena level up add-on, which triggers every time you level up and proceeds to play the John Cena theme for 5 seconds while an image of him pulses across the screen.
Dude, we don't need more brain rot in the game, dude.
This is all the add-on does, and honestly, it's probably one of the funniest add-ons I've ever encountered. There's a whole lot of impassable doors and gates spread across Stormwind, which are mainly used for decorative elements, which is also why no one ever cared about them or found anything suspicious. But obviously, the suspicious guy that I am, I analyzed all of them across the city and found this odd-looking one in the old town, near the canals. The big difference is this one seems to lead directly to somewhere. The gates closing off this pathway are also completely different to all the other ones in the city. If you use spells like Frostworm's Fury or any other linear ability, you can see that it passes through this wooden gate and touches the ground behind it. This means that it should technically be possible to get through the gate and find out whatever hides behind it. I tried everything like dying close to it and phasing through it in spirit form, but unfortunately this gate is sealed shut. Let me know in the comments if you find a way through it.
I kind of like when there's things like this in the games that it doesn't necessarily lead anywhere, but it just adds a little bit of immersion, I guess.
There is a 5th old god besides Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, Yasharaj, and N'Zoth. Let me explain. There is an official illustration for the World of Warcraft Chronicles Volume 1, 2, and 3 that indicates that there is or was a 5th old god at some point. If you take a closer look at the border design of this specific art, you can see Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, N'Zoth, and Yashurash at the left side here. But if you take a closer look at
here?
the top right corner of this image, you will see another entity depicted on it that doesn't resemble anything that we've ever seen before. Its tentacles end in leaf shapes, and it seems to be standing above a pile of bones and skulls, which may represent a being that controls life and death. Its face also strongly resembles Cthulhu, a fictional comic entity created by H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh shit, this would actually be cool if it led anywhere.
Is there a hidden old god controlling us all along, or is this just a little oversight on Blizzard's part?
I don't know if you would make an oversight like that though, or maybe it was just like, I don't know.
Whenever you hear Dunbarrow, you most likely think of dwarves or Ironforge, right? But what if I told you that this zone is one of the most cursed and haunted areas in the entire game? There's a place high up in the mountains of Dunbarrow, specifically above Anvilmar, where you can find an abandoned camp with a Mechano spider. If you walk
I think even in vanilla this is in the game.
past the machine and follow the path, you will eventually arrive at this plain snowfield with absolutely nothing there. On the mountains you will find weird and mysterious snow engravings that you can find nowhere else in the game. But all that stuff is nothing compared to what comes next. If you walk to this exact spot on the snowy fields, this very disturbing audio will start playing.
What? I'm not in.
Although these demonic...
Yeah, 10 years ago people would theorize that was like, oh god, I know dude. It reminds me, I think there was like something as well in Tirisfal similar to this.
sounds have been removed since Legion, there are many people confirming that this was indeed not fake and really happened whenever you step out on that specific spot. Imagine the first person exploring this area and getting a heart attack because they are suddenly in a Resident Evil game. So the Dragon Isles is known to be a zone that was supposed to be in World of Warcraft back in Classic. Early maps showed the Isle on the northern part of the Eastern Kingdoms. There is official art designs that were supposed to be used for things like loading screens, and there's even an unfinished zone in the game files that you can access with the website I mentioned earlier.
Kind of
funny.
funny.
What I really wanted to know is why they decided to scrap this area. John Stats, the 3D level designer of World of Warcraft back in the day, also released a book with the name The WoW Diary. In this book, he explains why certain zones were never finalized and put into the game.
I think a lot of I think it was a lot of time constraints as well though, to be fair, wasn't it?
Including the Dragon Isles. His first argument is that it just didn't make any sense to put it in the game at the time, because only black dragons were seen as enemies, and Chris Metzen, who was in charge of the lore, simply refused to let them create other dragon aspects to expand the range of enemies in that area. Another big reason was that they simply didn't have the technical capabilities to create such an ambitious zone, as the tools available at the time simply were too weak for such a zone and created numerous visual glitches. They couldn't find solutions for these problems, which is why they decided to scrap this zone entirely and pick it back up a few years later in the Dragonflight expansion. I really wonder how the story would have changed if they actually released this version of the Dragon Isles, including the new mob types. There's a mysterious...
It would have been pretty sick, honestly. The lore doesn't matter anyway. Dude, I'm so lost with the lore and WoW. I gave up, honestly, man. Like, I still enjoy, like, checking out retail from time to time and, like, I don't know, trying out, like, the new dungeons and raids and level up, but, like, I am lost on the lore. I am so lost on it.
Hellfire Peninsula, so well hidden that it took me a good bit to find. Far from everything and almost off the map and hidden under a rock, you will find these skeletal remains. Next to its corpse, you will find an interactable jar of ashes, which says, "Here is a jar of ashes. These are the ashes of my sanity, my passion, and my drive. All utterly destroyed by themselves. May all those who look upon these desolated lands of Hellfire remember this fallen Peon. He shed blood for the Alliance and sacrificed for the Horde, only to be driven utterly mad by the wicked and soulless ones who devoured what he held most dear. As they feast from his toils, may they suffer his wrath. Maybe not in this world, but in every world hereafter. It is my declaration, my solemn oath, and my everlasting promise. I will avenge my suffering." It's a very sad but yet still mysterious message. There is no information about a peon that died on the peninsula, but like everything in this game, there's also a theory for this guy.
I've actually never seen this. I really like when developers do this, like random breadcrumb lore, or like things that you kinda, it's not obvious and you gotta really search to find. I think that's sick.
Jar of Ashes is believed to be a reference to Zarek, an ex-community manager who was fired because he got rage-baited so hard by trolls on the forums that he lost his cool and started attacking everybody standing in his way.
I remember this! We watched the video about this a while back. Yeah, he actually got rage-baited. So...
story is very reminiscent to the Jar of Ashes, and it might be
Yeah.
possible that a friend who worked at Blizzard hid this little Easter egg to tribute his friend in the game, so he could be immortalized in the game that he was so emotional for the rest of eternity.
I really like when games do this though. I feel like environmental storytelling is it's such a strong tool, man, because it makes it feel like a world.
There's a really funny Easter egg deliberately placed by Blizzard.
Dark Souls Andy? Yes, I'm a freaking Dark Souls Andy, okay? I am. I think it's sick, okay? I love it, man. Like random, like, what is the word? Inconspicuous? Like just random, where you gotta really like look at the world and like you find random shit and it doesn't make sense, but it does, but it doesn't, and it makes you think. I like that it makes you think. Inconspicuous. Inconspicuous. There you go, okay? Like it's cool, man. It's sick.
To annoy and troll their fandom. In the Scarlet Monastery, more precisely the Scarlet Hall's dungeon, there is a room named the Room of Secrets.
Oh.
This name obviously sparks interest in finding out what the secret really is, so players went hunting for little clues. So they could find any secret in this room. They counted the amount of chairs, chandeliers, carpets, but all to no avail. Until one day, a rogue got the idea to use his detection ability, where he finally lifted the secret to this room. Once you use the detection ability, you will be able to see two prairie dogs by the name Secret and Sacred. I guess Blizzard didn't really lie when they named this place Room of Secrets. There used to be a theme park based on World of Warcraft and StarCraft. This park was located in Changzhou in China and was called World Joyland, which approximately cost $48 million to build. Now this
I have never heard of that. A Warcraft and StarCraft theme park in China?
sounds cool.
No, I've literally never heard about that before. That is insane.
But for whatever reason, these people thought it was a good idea to not work with Blizzard and create it themselves, which means this whole operation was illegal. Apparently, they didn't have the funds to pay for the licensing rights and still thought it was a good idea to build this whole thing. Blizzard
I've never seen that. That's where the Overwatch map is inspired from. Literally never played Overwatch.
obviously called Wind of World Joyland and asserted their rights on the very day of the park's opening ceremony. The response of the founders was that this entire place wasn't even inspired by World of Warcraft, and it was a simple coincidence. But with it
We didn't know. What? What's World of Warcraft? What? They had the what? Wait, we just made some random green people. What? That's crazy.
attractions like the Silver Moon Inn or the Warcraft Road, it was very difficult for them to convince the people at Blizzard, so they got hit with the copyright infringement.
What?
If you think this resulted in the closure of the park, you would be wrong, as they just renamed everything Blizzard related and switched their focus to copying Disneyland. They opened up a huge Disney store on the main street with fake
Ah yes, let's do some Disney stuff, guys. Disney is really chill with their copyright.
Mouse plushies and fake holograms of the beloved Disney characters. Now, Blizzard wasn't able to shut those guys down, but shortly after provoking the beasts that is Disney, this theme park it's still open. These guys managed to somehow outmaneuver Disney and Blizzard and are still open to this day.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Thank you once again to Boot.dev
That
for
is so
sponsoring this
funny.
video. Make sure to check them out by using my link in the description below and use code Varian for 25% off your first subscription.
Dude, that's
plan.
hilarious.
If you enjoyed this video, you will most likely also like these two. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one.
That was pretty funny though. A funny little video, dude. I like the bits with the like the in-game stuff. Like it's especially like vanilla and TBC. Like I'm gonna keep it a stack check. All like the retail, it's cool, but like I feel like when it comes to like actual world, I think like vanilla and TBC and stuff is it's always so interesting hearing new bits about that, right? So this one is so sick. I never heard about this one too, and I did not know that there was a Chinese like what? That is so crazy. There wasn't many facts, it was more speculation stuff. Yeah, it was more like a little bit speculation and like talking about it, but it was still a fun video nonetheless, right?